The rankings will also determine who gets cut.
Like with a knife or like on a football team?
At the end of each stage of training, the lowest ranking initiates will be leaving us.
To do what?
There's no going home to your families, so you'd live factionless.
Well, wait a minute, it's Easter weekend. I was gonna see my parents today. You know, I'm just here because I chose to review your film. But maybe I shouldn't have.
Would you have chosen differently? Out of fear?
Well, you know what? I don't have to answer that. This is my show, and this is Movie Night. Hello and welcome to Movie Night, the best produced review show on YouTube. I'm your host, Jonathan Paula. Tonight we'll be taking a late look at some of the biggest movies from spring 2014, beginning with the picture I spoofed in the opening, Divergent. Based on the first book in the best-selling trilogy by Veronica Roth, this science fiction action film was well on its way to doubling its $85 million budget a month after its March 21, 2014 release. Set in a futuristic dystopian Chicago, society has been split into 5 factions with overly hokey names, like Abnegation and Erudite, where all 16-year-olds are forced to choose a group and stay with it for life. The ill-intentioned overseer, Kate Winslet, coldly reminds everyone the future belongs to those who know where they belong. The beautiful Shailene Woodley stars a young and courageous citizen who is disheartened and frightened to learn she has a divergent personality, making her ill-suited for any one faction. If you weren't familiar with this immensely talented actress before, this blockbuster adventure will surely put her on your radar. She has a bright future ahead of her in Hollywood, with a career that'll undoubtedly have her competing against Jennifer Lawrence for many roles. Throughout her journey, she encounters new friends, enemies, and unlikely allies, with Theo James featured as the love interest and helpful instructor.
Points for bravery, Stiff.
You all right?
You cut me.
I meant to.
You meant to?
You think he was gonna let you off without a scratch? I'd still be standing there if I hadn't hit you.
So am I supposed to thank you?
If I wanted to hurt you, I would have.
A sequence where the two enter a drug-induced, fear-based dreamscape is an inventive and dramatic resolution to one particular plot thread. Ansel Elgort, Tony Goldwyn, Ashley Judd, Ray Stevenson, Maggie Q, Jai Courtney, Zoe Kravitz, and Miles Teller make up most of the PG-13 rated film's large supporting cast. With a young female lead who challenges authority while falling in love with her hunky co-star, the comparisons to other young adult book adaptations like Twilight or The Hunger Games are inevitable. With a trilogy of sequels already in development, it's obvious to see this story's appeal with adolescents, however. At its core, it's inherently nothing more than an allegory to fitting in with society. Director Neil Burger does a great job balancing the strong character arcs and personalities, but the action-oriented story gets away from him in this derivative and bloated 139-minute experience. The middle hour plays out like a post-apocalyptic boot camp, with all the trappings of a stay at summer camp, each rookie participant oblivious to the cliques and traditions of their surroundings. Far too much time is wasted in this middle portion, watching Woodley slowly transform herself into a powerful soldier through a series of unnecessary montages. Otherwise, this picture is very technically proficient, blending a very lively and gritty score from Junkie XL with convincing visual effects and sharp cinematography. The movie is interesting enough that I won't mind rewatching it next spring before its first follow-up, Insurgent, is released. Although residing in a decently familiar dystopian environment, the strong and resourceful characters make this a compelling picture, and an intriguing start to a new quadrilogy. Divergent, believable heroes in conventional situations. Here's what you had to say in the YouTube comments. Our scores for Divergent, a 6 and an 8. You thought it was disappointing and poorly written, but still better than expected, rating it a good. I was definitely surprised by this movie. Despite its many issues, when it worked, it was a very entertaining film. I thought it was great. For tonight's poll question, what's your favorite post-apocalyptic film? Plenty of options to choose from in this subgenre, so leave your response as a comment below. The second movie I'm reviewing tonight is Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Co-directed by Anthony and Joe Russo, this $170 million superhero adventure film has already grossed over $500 million just 2 weeks after its April 4th, 2014 release. This ambitious follow-up to 2011's Captain America: The First Avenger is the 9th installment in Marvel Comics' cinematic universe, and at 136 minutes in length, it's also the second longest. Fortunately, the Russo brothers do a great job balancing all the moving parts, making this sci-fi experience fly by. Everyone's favorite propaganda parkour artist is back with his unlimited stamina and vibranium shield, ready to tackle the forces of evil and the titular villain, this time emanating from within the one organization he felt he could trust. Portraying the title character for a third time, Chris Evans is perfectly cast as the down-to-earth hero, still adjusting to life in the 21st century, never afraid to show off his ridiculously toned physique. Before unraveling a conspiracy within the S.H.I.E.L.D. agency, he grows wary of their tactics, warning, "This isn't freedom, this is fear." The feisty and beautiful Scarlett Johansson is back alongside him to help vanquish the never-ending supply of evil henchmen and bad guys. Samuel L. Jackson returns as well, and thankfully is given a much larger role, including a truly thrilling action sequence early in the film, where he attempts to survive and escape a ferocious assassination attempt. Joining the group is Anthony Mackie as a humorous but still dangerous sidekick, and Robert Redford in a rare supporting role as a determined World Security Council member. His decades of experience and gravitas elevate every scene he's in, making this comic book universe all the more believable and realistic. Other familiar faces like Haley Atwell, Toby Jones, and Colby Smulders make minor appearances as well, but since none of them have really given anything to do, especially Smulders, their inclusion seems more like fan service than anything else. The Russo brothers expertly balance the trademark wit and humor of the Marvel mythos with the whiz-bang explosive set pieces that perfectly space out the PG-13 rated picture.
We have a 20 on the shooter.
Tell him I'm in pursuit.
Henry Jackman's loud and appropriate score is an effective contribution, but it rarely stands out. As expected, the visuals and effects are top-notch here, bringing to life ridiculous situations, like dueling aircraft carriers hovering over the Potomac River, or Mackie's foray into the wild blue yonder as Falcon. While this massive undertaking never quite approaches the blissful excitement that the Avengers was able to accomplish, this is certainly the strongest standalone installment since the original Iron Man picture. I'll be the first to admit my 4 out of 10 score for the first Captain America picture was a bit harsh, but even still, this sequel is bigger, more tightly crafted, and infinitely more entertaining than its disappointing predecessor. With its mid-credits teaser appropriately setting us up for next year's Age of Ultron, this is easily a movie I could see myself rewatching before then. Captain America: The Winter Soldier, blistering thrills with laid-back characters. Now let's check out the YouTube comments to read some of your reviews. Captain America: The Winter Soldier gets a double 9 on the Rate-O-Matic. Calling it tense, fast, and fun, you really love this picture, with everyone agreeing it was better than the original. You thought it was awesome. I have to agree here, this is a wonderful blend of humor, action, and espionage elements, and a very entertaining package. I've scored it an awesome as well. For those who haven't already done so, don't forget to check out the Movie Night Archive channel for any of my 37 trailer commentaries and an organized library of all the reviews we've done on the show. Finally tonight, let's take a look at Draft Day. Released nationwide on April 11, 2014, this sports comedy drama film from director Ivan Reitman is a fun and exciting picture, where everything takes place in a single day. Produced on a $25 million budget, this movie is technically very simple and limited, and given its neat subject matter, it will be unexpected if it turns a huge profit. In what seems like his umpteenth sports-related picture, Kevin Costner stars as the general manager of the National Football League's Cleveland Browns, who struggles to decide which talented athlete he'll select with his team's coveted #1 draft pick, but not before a lot of backdoor negotiations, intense phone calls, and plenty of second-guessing by those around him. The ambitious Costner defends his unpredictable and seemingly poor decisions by saying, "I want this team's future back." Nearing 60 years old, this old Hollywood veteran still has the chops and defiantly commands the film every time he's on screen, perfectly balancing nuanced emotions with undeniable charisma. When he goes toe-to-toe with the team's head coach, played by an angry Dennis Leary, the two have no issue shouting at each other while important documents burn right between them. Neither stubborn party willing to budge on their position.
Why am I here, Sonny?
Because Melina thinks you coached the Cowboys.
I did coach the Cubs.
And I think you were a bad babysitter.
This city deserves a championship, and I'm the guy that can deliver it.
Well, then we're on the same page, Vince.
Oh, yeah? Then keep me in the loop.
There is no loop, all right? There's me doing my job, you doing yours. Your job is to coach the team I give you. They do it different in Dallas?
Yeah, they do. They win. A lot.
The beautiful Jennifer Garner might be a bit young to be believable as Kevin's love interest, but the two strengthen each other's performances. Frank Langlia, Sam Elliott, Tom Welling, Terry Crews, Chi McBride, Kevin Dunn, Sean Combs, and a host of cameos by real NFL players and sportscasters also pop in and out of the fast-moving 109-minute picture. Commendably, this is one of the rare motion pictures to have secured full rights from the NFL itself, which really helps sell its believability. With Reitman behind the helm, it's no surprise this is a sharp and fresh film. He's been responsible for some true gems over the years, like Ghostbusters, Twins, Dave, and Evolution, and he once again concocts magic in a bottle with his troupe of actors. Since a large number of scenes take place via phone call, some inventive split-screen chroma key effects are used to keep everything visually interesting and unique. The music from John Debney isn't anything special, but it provides a suitable backdrop to the heated, fast-moving script. Although obviously fictionalized, the PG-13 rated narrative is great drama for all sports fans, but its ability to successfully entertain the more casual viewer is perhaps more impressive. A realistic but ultimately contained and limited experience that's definitely worth watching at least once, even if you're not a sports fan. Draft Day is a sharp, quick-witted dialogue drama. Now let's bring in the Rate-O-Matic for my thoughts. An 8. Going into an early screening of this picture completely blind, I had few expectations, but this film pleasantly exceeded them all. Seek it out if you can, I thought it was great. Lastly tonight, here's what you're saying about films currently playing in theaters with some of your tweet critiques. If you see a new movie in theaters, tweet your review with the JPMN hashtag. Next week, for no particular reason, we'll be reviewing 3 John Hughes classics: The Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and Career Opportunities. Once you've seen these teen dramas, share your opinions by voting in the polls below or by leaving a comment review. If you'd like to watch more movie night reviews, check out the related videos on the right or click subscribe to be notified of all new content. And be sure to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, or Google Plus for updates between episodes. Once again, my name is Jonathan Paula. Thank you for watching and listening. Until next time, have a good movie night.